Good evening, and thanks as always for joining us here on Speed Racing Network. Wednesday night Truck Series action here in the TJ's Team Truck Series. I'm Greg Olenek, joined by Brandon Domain as always. Brandon, welcome back to Japan. We're here again here in Season 4. Had a great race here in the Truck Series last year. Looking forward to possibly another good one here tonight.
Yeah, our last visit this season to Japan. Not the last international visit, though. We'll have a couple more of those showing up here later on this season. But Cup Series already took on Motegi. Really good race there. But that truck race that we had last season here at Motegi with a wild finish, 5 wide at one point on that final lap going for the win. You could have thrown a blanket over the top 10 just about. I don't know if we get a finish as good as that one, but I'm sure hoping for it.
Yeah, Brad Herman coming away with the win last year, 40 laps led, just outdone barely by Ryan Johnson with 42 laps led. But let's go ahead and check out the team standings, the championship standings here in the TJ's Team Truck Series. Sean Jensick now with 2 wins to his name, going back-to-back and a healthy advantage over that cut line, 63 points ahead of Andrew Harris there, who's 1 point behind Jeff Vickery in 15th. So we're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty here. Race number 5, you've only got 8 to go till we get to that cutoff race. It's go time.
It definitely is, and it's kind of weird looking at this one compared to, say, the Silverback Tax Xfinity Series, where the race winners are kind of falling behind in the point standings. They're all sitting there 8th or worse. Here in the Truck Series, your race winners are in the 1, 2, and 3 positions on the leaderboard. Just goes to show how consistently good those 3 have been. But, yeah, I mean, we're seeing some big names out here a little bit farther back than we kind of thought. I mean, you're looking at Landon Cardulo sitting there in 12th place. That one really jumps off the page. Andrew Harris has shown a lot of speed the past couple seasons. He's sitting there just behind that cut line. And then there's a plethora of big names that are sitting behind that top 15 here as we get the third way through the regular season.
Yeah, one of which is Michael Madden, so we'll see if he can make some ground up here tonight. Let's go ahead and check out those results here in the TJ's Team Truck Series. The team results from last week. Rat Pack coming away with the win, 101-67 over Tank. JW going to lose to Zoo Yost, 89 to 74 there. Phoenix with a big win over TJ's team, 108-37. And Barr going to get a win over JBR. Good matchup there last week, edging them out by 9 points. So checking out those team standings. Bobby Anderson still at the top, yet to be defeated. Just one draw in the season, but so far the most points going to Zeus there in second.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy looking at the points for and then the records. I mean, you're looking at Zuyos, they're number 2 in the records, but they've got the most points. Phoenix is sitting there in 7th, but they have the second most points all season long. And then you got to go back to 4th in points scored to get to your unbeaten Bobby Anderson Racing. So a little bit of it is the matchup and just playing to their opponents and getting a good draw here every now and then. But Bobby Anderson Racing has been putting together consistently strong numbers. They just haven't had that big home run week just yet.
Yeah, so one more thing to check out before we get out there. Just under 15 seconds to go before these guys start gritting up out there on the track and have 75 laps to go around this circuit here in Motegi, Japan. Here's the Week 5 matchups. Tank going up against Zuyost. Zuyost looking to get another win here this week, though. PVR going up against JBR, 2-2, 1v3 matchup there. And JW up against TJ's team. They're looking to bounce back and get a win here this week after losing to PVR in the previous week. Barr going up against RPR. That's my matchup of the week here, Brandon. Should be a good one with Sean Jensick running as well as he is for RPR.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the marquee matchup here this week. You got the consistent powerhouse that has been Bobby Anderson Racing. Rat Pack Racing, they've had a couple weeks where they've been a little bit lighter on the point side of things, but then the couple weeks when they have hit it big time out there. So it's really curious to see which Rat Pack we get and if Barr is going to be able to maintain that momentum.
So before we get out there and you see the guys gritting up on the track, got to give a quick shout out to Butt Kicker, as always, for coming on board here this season. Go ahead and check out everything that Butt Kicker has to offer over at buttkicker.com. And, I mean, it's almost Christmas season, so why not get your favorite sim racer something really nice and kind of would probably fit in the stocking, too. No, actually, it's a pretty big box, Brandon, so don't try that. But go ahead, check out Butt Kicker. It's the perfect gift for any sim racer you know. And also, please go check out TJ's Team Foundation, the sponsor here for the Truck Series here this season. A great foundation that we are always excited to have on board here at SRN. Just donate anything you can, your time, your knowledge, your money, and just share the link and let people know about morethan-a-cape.org.
Absolutely, great cause, great way to spend some donation money there, especially as we get towards the holidays. Just means a little bit more this time of year.
Yeah, so coming out on the track here now, you see Jacob Zala going to get the pole here tonight for Jonathan Byer Racing. Brad Herman going to start outside row number 2. He won last year's race, so look for him to be strong here tonight. The back-to-back winner here is going to be row 2, Sean Jensick starting 3rd with Matthew Greathouse there in 4th.
In row number 3, it'll be JW Racing's Lane Doyle with Blair Holloman out of Zuyos Racing on the outside. Lane 4 will be Trevor Williams, also out of JW Racing, with Danny Dow out of Rat Pack Racing on the outside. Row number 5, Andrew Harris and David Miller, PVR teammates, making up that row. And in row number 6, Kyle Spees out of Bobby Anderson Racing, and Jonathan Byer Racing's Austin Purnell.
Yeah, so that's your first 6 rows. A big field here tonight, 41 trucks. Going to be trying to go for that win here tonight, but there you see the pace car lights are off. They're going to get right to action here in a little bit. Brandon, who are you thinking about going with here tonight?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, it's hard to go against the guy that won it last season, but I've been on this run lately where I don't want to pick the easy one there. I kind of like sitting one row behind him, though. Matthew Greathouse, this is kind of a track style that works with him on these ovals. Obviously a good qualifying run. I think he'll have a good run here tonight.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to take the obvious, and I'm going to go with Brad Herman, who's starting front row here tonight in that 85 machine, looking to get a win here on the season and get things going again for Zuyos here. But the pace car going to go down pit road, and we're going to see that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving here in Motegi. Great start for Zala as he's edged out over Brad Herman and opening up the gap here early on. And now Sean Jensick early to the inside as Brad Herman almost got loose into the wall there on the first set of turns.
Yeah, and that was going to be the thing I was curious about with that outside line. If they were going to be able to maintain momentum here in turns 1 and 2 on cold tires on this racetrack, where that outside line a little bit more difficult than typically seen on most of these racetracks that we come to. The inside line going to definitely be primary, especially in turns 1 and 2. I think you can get a little bit more traction down there, a little bit better of a run down there. 3 and 4, you might see that outside open up a little bit, but early on, especially on cold tires, inside line's going to prevail in 1 and 2.
Oh, Jacob Zala just got into the wall there. You could hear it on the audio. Not sure if it's going to hurt him too much, but man, that one could have been a big-time hit there for the 35. Could have been a little bit of a netcode too, where it kind of threw us off. But you could definitely hear it on the audio of the broadcast. Big hit there, but looks to be fine.
Yeah, and this track is pretty aero sensitive to these trucks. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of downforce in these TJ's Team's Truck Series vehicles, but the way that this truck is designed, the speeds that you're carrying through these long, sweeping turns, yeah, that's something that you definitely don't want to have damage, even more so this early in the race.
Just looks to have a little bit of a loose truck out in front in that clean air, though. Right now, good battle between Danny Dow, Kyle Spees, and Andrew Harris back here. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Danny Dow currently under attack from Kyle Spees, who's already got one win here on the season, looking to maybe get another one here, but has fallen back a little bit in these standings here in the Truck Series.
Yeah, just a little bit of a slide there as of late, but I tell you what, he's still putting together some solid results. That really, that slide.
I'm thinking of the other series.
Yeah.
Series. My bad.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I mean, a little bit, yeah, but yeah, I think really it was just kind of one result that's kind of held him back a little bit, and then you just got the charge from Sean Jensick there. But yeah, definitely Kyle holding on a whole lot better than in the Xfinity side of things, where he's kind of been bitten a little bit since Daytona. But here on the truck side, just been really running well.
Another driver that's been running well is a newcomer to the Truck Series, but not SRN, is Michael Large back here for JW Racing. Kind of took over for a driver who was supposed to start the season out, but has run pretty well here this season and is into 17th position. Looks like he's battling a loose truck too. Something you don't expect here at this track, but these trucks are really loose.
Yeah, and that was something I was hearing about all week long, just from people testing the trucks, and I kind of jumped in myself, and it is a little bit loose, especially early on. I didn't get a chance to do a full run on it, but I definitely felt like it was a little bit looser than it was last season, and you got to keep in mind, we did have an update to the vehicles since we were here last season, and that's kind of modified how it handles a little bit, running the same setup, but it's just thrown a little bit of a twist into the plans for these drivers.
That's Ben Park trying to make the pass there, gets it done over Bobby Anderson, and just checking out the rest of the field, seeing what kind of battles we got going on. And I think we're going to have a battle here for the lead here in a second. Jensic now right on the bumper of the 35 of Jacob Zala, so looking like he wants to get right back to where he's been these last 2 weeks, and that's out in front of this thing.
And this is a racetrack that it is difficult to make a pass, especially out in front when you got that clean air to help out. And so if you have that track position, if you've got that lead in whatever line, whether it be in front of the field or anywhere that's a decent chunk away from anybody else in front of you, just hard to make that pass. But once you do, you're in the golden position, because it's just as hard for everybody else to make that pass on you.
So just like that, 8 laps are in the book as Jacob Zala out to a great start here tonight with the pole setting time and leading all first of the 7 laps here that we've run, but he's got a long race ahead of him with the hungry Sean Jensic just behind him. Andrew Harris making the pass here on Danny Dow. That's going to put the 87 up into 9th if he can complete that pass. It looks like he might be able to do that this time. It's a good run into 3.
Yeah, definitely should on 3 and 4, having that inside line. That outside momentum coming off of 2 was keeping Danny in front of him just that little bit, but being able to get that primary line, real loose there for Andrew Harris in the 87. That's going to open up that outside line. Now if he can hang on to stay side by side with Danny, he still might be able to counter it. He's going to try to drive it in pretty deep. Comes up a little bit as Danny was squeezing him also. Good tight racing here between Harris and Dow, and they keep it off each other.
He's going to single get right in the back of that 2 here and try to calm down after that. Was a really close call between the 87 and the 2 there. But, man, these two have been racing together for a long time, and you can see it right there. They both keep it going in the right direction. Now Landon Cardullo right on the bumper. He's up 3 positions, currently in 11th. Now looking taken at the 10th position from the 87 here.
And this racetrack is so interesting, by the way, and I noticed it for real last time when we were riding on board with Andrew Harris, and that was kind of everybody's first real look at it. But even on the outside shots, you can see how rough the bottom line is in turns 1 and 2, and how those bumps can really throw off these trucks. And that's something that we got to keep an eye on, especially as this tire run continues. The longer this run goes, the more traction they're going to be losing on these trucks, and every little bit is going to be throwing off once they hit those bumps on the inside in 1 and 2.
As you see Matthew Greathouse get the position from the 10. Blair Holloman up 1 from where he started. He's looking to make up some ground already with 1 win here on the season. But Zala looks to be fighting a loose truck. Curious to see how that'll go for these long runs, which is looking like this is shaping out to be one of those here early on. We saw 6 cautions in last year's race here at Twin Ring in the Truck Series. So far, off to a pretty green start here tonight.
Yeah, we're on lap 11 and coming to lap number 12. We've already beaten last year's pace for the first caution by now 12 laps. We had it right at the start before we even got to turn 1 last season. But this time around, really smooth driving. Think a little bit more familiarity with this racetrack for these drivers. It was the great unknown last time around, and it really ate some people up. But this time it seems like everybody with a good understanding of how they have to get around here, and a really good understanding of how much this track can really shred up these tires if you push it, which is very easy to do in these turns.
So going back through the field, it's really stacking up nicely back here from about 15th on back. This is Bobby Anderson battling with Mike Lepicki here side by side. And then you got Michael Madden further on back. He's in 20th, started 20th so far, currently not made up any position so far. Oh, and him and Kyle Ryan almost made contact here. Almost the same thing we saw with Fuge and Harris not too long ago.
Yeah, that was a very tight racing there, and part of it is you just try, if you're on that inside line, you're trying to get so deep into that turn, and I don't know if that was a little bit loose or just a little bit of displeasure kind of running down to the inside. I'm going to go with a little bit loose based on how the momentum kind of fell off there for Kyle Ryan in the 66. Nathan Nixon kind of caught in the middle. He's going to have to go way up to the outside in 3 and 4, trying to get away from anything happening there. But some dicey moments, but everybody keeps it, I think, off of each other. I don't think we saw any contact anywhere.
I think we're seeing a little bit of damage, though, on the 66. A little bit of damage to the left front there. So that could be hindering the handling on that truck. The driver who came in second of that crazy finish last year with some early damage here early on. So that could really affect this truck here at a track like this.
It absolutely can, especially if you got that damage on the left front. Just going to make it where it's just not getting that bite that it should around these turns. And in 1 and 2, it's kind of weird. You don't necessarily need as much handling arrow-wise in 1 and 2, but you just got to know the throttle control because of how long that turn is. It just lasts forever. But in 3 and 4, that left front being damaged, it's a tighter turn. You have to have good handling on that side of the track. I think that's where he's really going to be hurting.
Well, a new face here in P number 2, Brad Herman now right on the bumper here of Jacob Zala, looking like he's got some good speed in this 85. Kind of took it easy riding there in third. Now gets by Jensik and wants to get this first place position from Jacob Zala here. And he's thinking of going back to back here in Japan and kind of just making this his track.
Man, Brad Herman, you saw those lap times a moment ago on that graphic, a 37.0, his last lap a 37.5. That tells you a whole lot about how well he's done taking care of those tires, didn't abuse them early on in the run. You typically look at a fall off maybe about a tenth a lap after the first handful of laps. He's sitting there well under that kind of range. Meanwhile, Jacob Zala, fastest lap, a 36.9. He's sitting there running in the 37.7s at this point, so a lot more fall off for Jacob Zala at this point than Brad Herman.
So we got to go. We got teammates getting into each other here. That's Purnell and Cardulo. Sends Cardulo around. It looks like everybody going to stay off him here, but that was JBR teammates coming together right there.
Man, and that looked like it might be a pretty good shot there to that 13 Toyota Tundra of Landon Cardulo. We came to it just as it was happening, as we get our first caution of the night in the admin box rec replay. But man, you don't see that too often here with teammates. As you see, Purnell got a big run, actually got into the back of Landon Cardulo, got him into the wall. He got loose, had to check up, and just instantly got turned. That's one of those moments where if you're Landon, you're going to be asking, like, hey, getting into me, that happens, but maybe back off a little bit and give me some room to kind of collect that back. But
I don't know if
man,
it was
that's unfortunate
netcode or not, though. It just didn't even look like Purnell was to his bumper yet. I don't know. That's a tough call there. We'll see what the admins have to say about that.
Yeah, it is possible. It could have been netcode. It was pretty tight. As
this is the wrong bumper.
well, easy call, by the way, when we're thinking about how the admins are going to handle it. Austin Purnell got on radio and said, that's on me.
Well,
so he's already accepted that one.
Yeah. There you go. With some big-time damage to 13 there. Everybody luckily gets spawned by pretty clean. So looking like everybody going to come on down pit lane this time. Jacob Zala going to lead each and every truck, as that was a pretty nice long green flag run to start there. 18 green flag laps.
Yeah, that's about halfway through a run as well, and that's really going to alter the strategy at this point. If it stays green the rest of the way, once we go back to green flag racing, everybody's still going to need one pit stop, so it's going to play into who's going to try the undercut, where are they going to make that pit stop, but this is going to be important right here. We talked about how hard it is to make that pass at the front of the field. Track position, ultra important here at Motegi. Let's see who can come off of pit road first. It's going to be a tight one. A little bit of a slide for Zala. That's going to give the edge to Brad Herman off pit road.
Brad Herman gets the win off of pit road. Seeing Daniel Park, don't think he came down pit road, so he's going to have to come down and get some service on that machine. Might have missed the entry here, but yeah, great race off of pit road there. And that happens sometimes. You can see the tire marks in Zala's pit stall. That will slow you down. Brad Herman got the grip to the track there and really got out quick. So the 85 is going to be out in front of this thing once Daniel Park decides to bring that 17 on down pit road.
And honestly, if he does, even if he stays out, this could line up well for him where, he's going to fall off in terms of the pace. Let's see what he does here. So they make their way off at 3 and 4. He's going to stay out there and try to pick up that. He doesn't have the lap lead yet, so he's going to pick that up here. It's going to be bold. I mean, we saw the fall off. We saw that it was going to be, they were already losing about 8/10 of a second for most of the field. So he's obviously going to have that right out of the gate. But I mean, we're looking at also he was started 40th. He was down near the back of the field when that caution came out. Maybe he's thinking about the net positive out of this, or maybe we get another quick caution.
Certainly looks good with that plus 39 right next to his name. So right now, Daniel Park going to lead them back here as the pace car lights are off of this thing. And he is going to try and not spin these tires too bad. That is kind of what I'm worried about at this point. But I think he will maybe pay off big time. Like you said, you can't really lose when you're kind of running in the back of this thing. And we'll see how he does. So Brad Herman going to start to his outside there. Sean Jensick, Jacob Zala, Lane Doyle. That'll be the rest of your top 5. Matthew Greyhouse, Trevor Williams, Kyle Spees, Andrew Harris, and Blair Holloman. That will be your top 10 running order. So some movers here on that pit exchange. And the biggest one going to be Brad Herman starting ahead of Jacob Zala. We'll see if that 35 can get on by the 85 machine. But the base car goes on down pit road, and these guys get ready to see that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving here again in Motegi.
And this is going to be real interesting. You saw a little bit of a wiggle there for that 17. He's already going to be overtaken, threading the needle around him at this point, going down either side. Jacob Zala to the inside, Brad Herman to the outside. That was important for Jacob Zala. We talked about how important the inside line was on that original start. It was negated by having Daniel Park on old tires this time by heading up that inside line. That really checked up the field if he would have stayed out in front.
Four wide, Zala and Spees! And now Williams and Andrew Harris also getting involved in that. Dean Gagliano a big hit. More trucks getting into this one. Vickery involved there. Looks like Rob Yost. He's just going to let it all happen in front of him and go right on by. So the 83 is fine.
I saw one other that kind of checked up behind the field, but that was wild. That was basically 3 wrecks in one, it felt like. We saw the original as everybody went 4 wide, and then it just kind of layered on top of each other as everybody was trying to make their way around it. But my goodness, that was a weird-looking wreck that took out about 5 or 6 trucks here.
Yeah, Blair with the big run there on the inside. He had nothing to do with this. Solid just gets into the 25 and kind of gets the 87 into the 46 too. I just think there was a chain effect, and you just see everybody wrecking behind him. The 16 there. That's Derek Da Silva also involved in this. Gagliano, though, with the big hit there at the 45. Let's take another look at it.
I think what happens with Harris and Williams is actually watch the 2 of Danny Dow, I think just didn't check up as quick as Andrew Harris got into the back of Harris, and that shipped him into the 46. But this 4-wide racing, that is not going to work at Motegi at any point, especially in 3 and 4. 4-wide just will not hold.
So big time wreck here just after the first caution, quickly on our second caution. So we will step aside real quick, let everybody get their trucks fixed up after this latest incident, and come right back after these words.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, and just like that, we are back here at Motegi, expecting to see the one to go single signal this time by, and there you see it. One to go. You're going to see those pace car lights go off. Some big movers, though, so far here in this one.
Yeah, certainly. I have seen some big-time movers. Looking at a little bit deeper in the field, you got Raul Meza plus 14 from 33rd up to 19th. Right next to him, Tyler Markle plus 16, who actually, after a little bit of alternating and moving around, he's 19th place, Tyler Markle, up from the 35th position. But then moving a little bit farther up through the field, Nathan Nixon currently running in 12th. He is plus 13 on the day. Michael Madden also plus 13. He's gone from 20th up to 7th, and then one spot over Ben Park, sitting there in what's going to be position number 6. He's plus 11 right now after starting in 17th.
Yeah, so a lot of movement so far in this one, and we got a long way to go. Only about a third of the way done here. As you see, we are about to complete lap number 25. But the good news is those pace car lights are off. We're going to get this thing kicked off with a pretty strong front row here. Brad Herman, Sean Jensick side by side. Lane Doyle's made it up to the second row, there in that 47. Blair Holloman going to start in P4. And Matthew Greathouse and Ben Park in that third row. So look to see that pace car head on down pit road, and we'll go on board the starter cam if we can go ahead and find it there. There he is. The Silverback Tax Solutions green flag is waving here again in Japan.
See a couple of the trucks that picked up some damage there in that last caution. Seemed like they kind of scattered in the back of the pack. People trying to figure out how much power they got and how much grip they've got. But up in front, everybody kind of sorting this out single file rather quickly. There's a couple of side-by-sides. Oh, one in the wall. It's Nathan Nixon trying to gather it up, and Andrew Harris involved as well.
Yeah, I thought that was Madden for a second, but yeah, that's Nathan Nixon. Everybody gets it going, and there's Andrew Harris out really wide here, 3 wide. Back here in 12th.
I think he was the bystander there with Nathan Nixon getting loose and into the wall there. Not sure if, we saw Andrew get a little bit of damage there in that last caution as well, so obviously he stayed out on pit road. Might be thinking that there's a little bit more damage than he might have thought. With some of the power output there, just doesn't look like he's got it at full speed. We got side by side though, Blair Holloman and Ben Park, this racing for 4th and 5th as they head down to turn 3.
Yeah, speaking of power output, look at the power the Toyota's putting out tonight. You got 7 of them here in the top 10, and then 3 Chevys, no Fords so far.
Oh, so, nice save.
Wow. But yeah, we'll see. These Toyotas looking strong here, as we have a lot of them here in Season 4. And looking to make up some ground here on the Lane Doyle, who's currently hanging strong here in P2.
I'm kind of wondering what I missed the memo on this. Last season, we didn't see a lot of Toyotas in any of the 3 levels, and this season seems to be the class favorite here in season number 4. But yeah, they're definitely looking good out there. Still tight racing here, this time with Michael Madden and Ben Park. And Madden trying to drive it deep, nearly gets into the tailgate of Blair Holloman just in front of him. Tight racing there between Greathouse and Ben Park just behind, as Park came down just in front of that 51 of Greathouse. But everybody now sorted out single file all the way back through about 15th position.
Yeah, Greathouse having a quietly good night so far in that 51. Another side-by-side battle. Further on back, that's between Lucas Lyons and Kyle Ryan, so he's had some chances now to get the damage fixed on that 66 machine, and so far it looks a lot better than it did, but still a little bit of a crinkle there in the hood of that 66 Toyota Tundra, but so far it is paying off. He's going to get this position from Lucas.
And while we're there, actually, do want to give a little nod there. It's a very Chase Elliott-inspired paint scheme for Lucas Lyons in that 94 truck this week, and that is for a good but heavy reason. Did lose his grandfather very recently, and they're his favorite driver, Chase Elliott, so he wanted to run a Chase Elliott-inspired scheme in his honor. Thinking about the Lyons family, Lucas and everybody there on their loss here this past week.
Yeah, taking a look at that truck, you can see the damage to the left and rear, but definitely thinking about that Lucas Lyons family. Up 9 positions, a strong run so far in that Ford F-150. So people keep an eye on him as he makes his progress through the field. He's got a nice battle just in front of him. Kyle Ryan getting on by the 88 there of Jose Ruiz, and Lucas going to take the spot too, move him up to 14th, up 10.
Yeah, just a nice run, working the way through the field, and also working the way up Blair Holloman. We saw him make that move, running for 4th as he got around Ben Park. Now that deep dive to the inside, this time around Sean Jensick. That'll be for position number 3, as that inside line, we talked about it all early, and we're going to talk about it all night. That is the primary line, and you're going to see some guys making some deep lunges into those turns, especially into turn number 3. And that is going to pay off for Holloman, as he's already going to pull away about a 1/10 of a second clear of Sean Jensick since he got out of turn 4.
Taking a look further on back in the pack. This is for 22nd. Wow, that's Andrew Harris, who's getting really loose. That truck is not handling well there.
I don't know how he held on to that. Normally you get that loose coming off of turn 2 here. You're finding yourself into the inside wall or overcorrecting it back up the racetrack. But he did a heck of a job keeping that thing pointed straight, losing some spots. I think at this point he's just waiting for a caution to come out so we can get some work done on that 87 truck.
So giving a shout out to the rookie here, Kevin Asanio. The wrong picture is showing up. That's Blair Holloman. So we're going to work on getting that fixed for Kevin. But he's had a good progress through the field, up 9 positions after starting 32nd and making the pass here on Jason Crackey now. Taking over 23rd, so 14 moving up to the front as well.
Yeah, that's that paint scheme always catches my eye. I feel like the screen's a little bit dirty there every now and then, but the Vice golf ball paint scheme out there for the 14 truck, it's a good looking truck. It just throws me off every time I see it.
It reminds me of a Jawbreaker. I'm not going to lie, more than anything. So we'll go with that and keep an eye on his move up towards the front. But Kyle Ryan picking him off here. He's gotten that truck headed in the right direction. Like I said, that damage getting fixed is paying off big time. He is picking them off one by one. Just made the pass here on Jose Castellanos and Michael Larch not too long ago. Now staring down David Miller in the top 10.
Yeah, just really putting together a solid run there for Ryan as he now moves up into the 11th position, but he's gaining in a hurry for sure. Not too sure if maybe that little bit of damage picked up early on might have just woken him up and kind of got him fired up here on this run, but ever since that green flag dropped, he has dropped the hammer on the field, picking up a handful of positions since the restart, and now right on that tailgate of David Miller in the 21 truck. And here's the dive down to the inside. See if he can make that stick. He's going to hold it down to that white line. That should be good to at least get the edge here coming out of turn 4. And, yep, he's going to hold on to it and clear him.
So move Kyle Ryan up into the top 10, and he has got his sights straight ahead of him and wants to maybe get back up there and make a run for a W here tonight. He's got his nemesis here at Motegi just up there in P1, Brad Herman. See if he can get back up there. Man, how crazy would that be to have another wild finish like that?
Man, I'll take that every week, actually, if we can see one of those finishes that we had last season. I think we had that rated as, the number 2 finish at the end of the season, maybe something like that. When we got to that top 10 countdown, it was for good reason. That thing was absolutely wild. And speaking of battles for the lead, here we go. Lane Doyle taking a look to the inside in that 47 truck, inside of Brad Herman as they enter turn 1. Nice dive in there, but a good defensive line here by Brad Herman, trying to stay somewhat close to that 47 truck, not let him get too comfortable. He's still going to carry a little bit of momentum on that outside line down the back straightaway, but I think by the time we get off of turn 4, that should be Lane Doyle's lead.
Yeah, he's got to worry about Blair Holloman more than anything right now, because Blair trying to get right up to the bumper of this 47, but can't do it. The 85 going to try to close the door there on the 10, and does. So these 3 drivers all nose the tail, and Michael Madden quietly up to P4 just behind them. He wants to get up here and make some noise with his teammate Sean Jensick just behind him.
And how about that? We're about 10 laps or 12 laps or so in since that restart after the second caution. We still got the top 8 all within 2 seconds. You can see them all in this one shot, all the way back down to Mike Lepicki in 8th in that 23 truck. So everybody's still nice and tight here in this single file line as they're working their way near the halfway point, actually just past the halfway point here at Motegi. Remember, there's still that one pit stop everybody's going to have to make the rest of the way. I think we might see some interesting strategy plays because passing is difficult here, but you can do it a whole lot easier on pit road with a good pit stop or good strategy.
Blair Holloman jumps out to the inside on his teammate there, Brad Herman out of Zuyos Racing. So those two having a good drive so far for the Zuyos squad. But right now, side by side, heading into turn number 3, Blair wants the spot. He's going to get it from his teammate.
Yeah, and that was a lot wider of an entry there that time by for Brad Herman. Not as defensive as it was against Lane Doyle. Definitely teammates racing each other. But I also think the other part of that was Brad Herman sees that 15 getting closer and closer in that rearview mirror. I think he thought, let's get this pass over with quickly, and I can jump right back in behind Blair and not leave that window open for Michael Madden, who I think it's either him or Kyle Ryan that might have the fastest truck on the track right now.
Yeah, Kyle Ryan already up to 9th now, staring down 8th place Mike Lepicki. So that 66 quickly making a run back up through the field. But you're exactly right. This 15 is right on the bumper here, the 85. But I am not counting out the 85 by any means. We saw him kind of drop back a little bit there early on in that first kind of long run there that went 18 green flag laps. And he quickly ran right back up to the bumper of Zala there. But yeah, Madden taking a peek to the inside, and Brad not having any of it. He's going to try and defend his 3rd place position, but I don't think he's going to cook his stuff up here doing it.
Yeah, that's the interesting debate that he's going to have there in that 85 truck. He obviously wants to hang on to that position at this point in the run as we get closer and closer to pit stops. But I think the other thing is, you want to throw those blocks. You want to make that truck behind you uncomfortable, knowing that they're faster at this point. But you also got to save those tires in case we do get a nice long run here and you decide that you're going to make a pit stop a little bit later. You don't want to blow it up as he gets a great run off of turn 4. He's going to go right around Blair Holloman, but that's also going to pull the 15 with them, possibly Sean Jensick as well, as he's trying to take a peek to the inside to follow Madden.
Yeah, and all these Zuyos and Rat Pack Racing guys really close together here. They are very familiar with practicing with one another, kind of satellite teams, so they're all used to working with one another here. But Brad Herman feels like he's got the fastest truck to possibly run down Lane Doyle, so he takes that 2nd position away and moves Blair back to P4. Great battle now as Michael Madden right on the bumper of this 85 now.
One thing I keep noticing is every time off of turn 4, the last handful of laps, that 85 truck pretty squirrely out there, a little bit loose coming off of turn 4. He's obviously got speed, but I think that's kind of just shaking a little bit in terms of what he's able to do as we see Kyle Spees come down pit road to start these pit stops for everybody. as he's going to show 35th. He was a little bit higher than that coming down pit road a little bit earlier, but I think it's going to be real interesting to see how that 85 handles that loose condition coming off of turn 4. Not too sure what happened there. He doesn't have any damage, maybe just used up the tires a little bit trying to hang on to that lead early, but it just looks a little bit different than most of these other trucks as we got side by side for 5th and 6th. Matthew Greathouse to the inside of Blair Holloman.
Yeah, Holloman really struggling now. Is quickly falling back to 6, and now Ben Park going to be right on the bumper of that 10 machine. And he's got Mike Motegi just behind him, and like we all said, a very hungry Kyle Ryan who's making his way ever so much closer to these lead trucks. And Blair Holloman going to go right back to the inside here of the 51 here. This battle for 5th, he's going to have the track position to maybe make a pass.
And that inside line just showing you how important it is. Ooh, caution on the racetrack.
Looks like it might have been Kevin Asanio. There he is right there, yep. The 14 with heavy damage here on the inside.
Oh, smoking.
Let's go queue up the admin box rec replay, figure out what happened to the 14 here. We'll check it out from the blimp cam. Landon Cardillo just behind him. 13 looks like he turns down.
Part of me wonders if there's more to that story that was going on before. Because, yeah.
Let's take
Well, they're both into the wall. All right, so let's go back. We got 1 and 2, and there they are. And I think we might see what's going on here as we got the 14 and the 13.
Comes down into him here.
Pretty tight, yeah. And I think once they made that little bit of contact, it just drove them both down farther to the inside, and then they both got into the wall. And I mean, I'll just say it, I don't think Landon was too happy with that, and there you go.
Ooh, gets the 87 too. Tough night for Andrew Harris, who's already gotten damage to that 87 machine, and 2 Phoenix Virtual Racing trucks too at that. So that is going to open things up here on pit lane for all of the leaders to possibly make their final stop here tonight.
One thing I just remembered is which teams are facing each other this week as they got the race off of pit road. It's going to be Lane Doyle, Brad Herman, and Michael Madden 1, 2, 3 off pit road. And just to finish that thought, it's JBR versus Phoenix this week in the team side of things. So a little bit of aggression there between those sides.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what's causing it, but that has just added to the excitement week by week. The team standings, man, I love it. So we'll see how it works out for both of those teams. But right now, 47 is going to come off in P1. Been a long time since Lane Doyle has gotten a win. Could he get it here tonight? Won his first race here in SRN at Daytona, but has gone winless since then. The 47 leads, and we will be right back after this break.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
All right, back at it here. You see everybody making their final pit stops here of the night, and we are going to have 27 laps to sort this thing out. And you think we're done seeing these lead changes yet, Brandon? A lot of them here early on with the lead change between Lane Doyle Herman and Sean Jensick, as well as Jacob Zala.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think everybody now knows it's going to be a short run. They don't have to plan for that pit stop. That really could have shooken up this race. Now it's just go time. There's going to be that 26-lap shootout. There's going to be a little tire saving that's going to be needed, but I think we're going to see a lot of guys just going for it here right on this restart.
Pace car heads on down pit road. The field back in the hands of our starter here tonight, edging closer to that Geico restart zone. And the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving once again here in Motegi.
And Sean Jensick, you see him just getting passed by a little bit there, just from that outside line, not being able to get that big jump there. And you saw him fall a little bit farther back than I think we thought. A little bit of a stack up there coming out of turn 2, though. Looks like Matthew Greathouse going to lose a couple of spots on that inside line, as the outside with a big momentum rush that you normally don't see that strong of. But I think that inside line really got checked up.
So Greathouse going to fall back to 8th on that restart after he was in the top 5 before things got started. Mike Lepicki gets into the wall there back in 10th. Jose Castellanos just behind him, but Kyle Ryan, there you see him in 9th, looking to pick up a few more spots. And out in front, Lane Doyle sets out to a 0.3 of a gap lead over the 85 machine, and Brad Herman with a healthy gap between him and Michael Madden for 3rd.
Yeah, we see this nice gap here for Doyle over Herman, and an even farther gap back to Michael Madden, but we've seen this so far. Oh, one sliding a little bit farther back. That was Kyle Ryan. He's going to collect it, trying to hang on to it. Now he's going to get into the wall.
Luckily, such a wide track, people can react to get on by him, but man, all that progress goes down the drain as the 66 now back in 29, now 30th position is falling.
And now he's got farther damage on that truck. He already had it on the left front, now got it on the right side from front to back there. As jump a little bit farther back up. This is the race now for 4th and 5th. Blair Holloman trying that dive down to the inside. Sean Jensick with a great job defending that as he powered through on that high line. Still has a good ability to do that with those tires pretty well fresh. They're going to grip that racetrack pretty well, and he's able to hold off that 10 truck.
Yeah, head back a little bit further. You got David Miller, who's got Ben Park just behind him for 6th and 7th. Greathouse has kind of settled in back there in 8th. Lepicki in 9th with Jose Castellanos rounding out our top 10. Further on back in the pack here, though, we got a big hornet's nest. Trevor Williams just in the thick of it. He's back in 21st after a rough night here tonight.
Yeah, you saw him get caught up in that second caution of the night. Kind of an innocent bystander there. It looked like he was going to be able to avoid it and then just got hit in the follow-through of it. That truck looking pretty clean for the kind of hit that he took there in 3 and 4 in that caution, but still having to work his way back up through the field after kind of getting relegated well back there in the running order. And we've talked about it all night. It's hard to make passes out here, and it's really difficult to work your way back up.
Well, one man trying to make a pass right now. That's Ben Park. He's trying to get P6 from David Miller and sends it in deep into turn 3 here and gets that spot. David Miller going to try to do a crossover, but just settles in front of his teammate there in 7th. So give that P6 to Ben Park.
Man, that 8 truck coming alive here late. Saw him have a really strong run a little bit ago, and that last run, and Man, I think he's gotten this track figured out as we got side by side here. Austin Purnell in the 36, Raul Meza in the 37. This racing for the top 15 positions here, 15th and 16th. Give that edge to Purnell in the Toyota Tundra for JBR.
Yeah, Purnell's had a really solid run this year, and we didn't really talk about much in Season 3. But right now, making a case to be running in the postseason here in Season 4. See if he can make up a few more spots to maybe not have to burn a burn week here this week. But right now, pressure on the 47. Brad Herman right on the bumper. Lane Doyle here for the lead.
Yeah, Herman closing in about a tenth, but also closing in by about 3/10 since the last time we checked in on this lead battle is Michael Madden, who, again, seems to be the fastest guy out there on the racetrack after we get a couple of laps on those tires. And, in fact, I think Herman might be having to deal with Madden before he gets a chance to deal with Doyle himself.
So the lead heating up here. Sean Jensick definitely not out of the question, too. He's looking to make it a three-peat here tonight. Currently running fourth with Blair Hallman just behind him in P5. So not sure who that was. I thought I saw a truck really high up there. Oh,
that is Lane Doyle. Or not Lane Doyle, excuse me. That was Sanio. Okay, sorry. It looked a little bit similar at first. I was like, oh no.
I got a little confused too, but yeah, he's just letting everybody go on by. Hopefully everybody gets on by cleanly. But man, Blair Hallman quickly to the inside. Sean Jensick battle for fourth. As they exit turn number 4, give it to Blair Hallman.
A little bit of nudge maybe there. That or just got a little bit loose coming off of turn 4 as Jensick had that momentum run from the high line coming out of the straightaway, but Holloman's still going to hang on to it. Good respectful racing there. If there was a little bit of contact, gave him a chance to kind of gather it back up, keep going. But Holloman looking like he's coming alive here in this late portion of the race as well. So I might be needing to keep an eye on that 10 truck as well as the 15 and the 8. They all seem to be kind of setting themselves up to maybe make a charge at this thing late if it stays green the rest of the way.
A great finish last season here at Motegi. Why not do it again here this season? And man, it's just really making
what
us
around?
Love this track as Wally Babb going around here in the 99 machine gets it corrected, and everybody seems to make it on by. But we'll go ahead, queue up that admin box rec replay, figure out what happened to the 99 here.
Yeah, I caught him on my second screen near the end of this thing. It looks like I don't believe anybody else got involved in it. Just kind of got looped around. Whoa, that was abrupt for that 99W Bobby Anderson Racing Toyota. Not too sure if maybe he just downshifted and maybe double downshifted or missed the shift somewhere. There are some guys that do opt to shift down from 4th to 3rd and 3 and 4, get a little bit more grip. And the way that thing kind of snapped around, that didn't look. Yeah, you can see the RPM gauge really tacked there. He missed a shift somewhere or just kind of caught a bad bump as he shifted, and it just did not sit well with that truck.
So that's going to bring out our 4th caution of the night, and all of the leaders coming down except for one. David Miller opted to stay out, so he will assume the lead as everybody else comes down pit road. Probably thought he would have a little more help.
Yeah, that's going to be a lonely feeling there, I think, for David Miller. He's going to pick up a point for leading a lap, but I don't know. There's only a handful of laps, of hard racing laps on those tires. It's not going to be a giant difference, but he's going to be feeling that near the end of this race as everybody else makes their way down pit road, as you see on that scoring pylon. Yeah, that's going to be a tough decision as the race off pit road going to be between Doyle and Herman. Give the edge to Lane Doyle by a half truck length over Brad Herman. Blair Holloman just ahead of Michael Madden. Sean Jensick and Ben Park round out the top 6 in the race off pit road.
Yeah, Lane Doyle and Brad Herman have killed their pit stops here tonight, as you see the pole sitter Jacob Zolla coming off pit lane. And yeah, it's just, you don't expect to see that usually from a driver who is running in the top 10. I mean, Miller was running about 7th or 8th there before these pit stops. Opts to stay out. Clearly thought probably would have had more help out there. But, hey, I mean, we've seen these things really heat up at the end with a lot of aggressive racing. Maybe the safest spot out in front of this thing.
And one thing I will say too is we've seen him on a couple of times, and I think when Ben Park got around him under that last green flag run, he wasn't putting up much of a fight. I think he was doing a really good job of conserving those tires. And at the end, for those not familiar with iRacing that are just kind of watching, you got a friend, a family member, sponsor in a truck out there, you can see what the tire conditions were at the end of a run. After you make those changes on pit road and you get a new set of tires, it'll show you the percentages, it'll show you the wear, it'll show you the temps. David Miller might be sitting there saying, you know what, I haven't been burning up my tires that bad. 5-6 laps under green, that's not going to hurt him too bad. I might still be in an all right spot and maybe get a net gain out of this thing, if not still threaten to win, because we've talked about how difficult it is to pass. If he feels he's still got enough life in those tires, might have a pretty good chance here.
Yeah, so as you see, the pace car lights still on. Just want to go ahead and take this time to give a quick shout out to TJ's Team Foundation, as always, for coming on board to sponsor the TJ's Team Foundation Truck Series here this season, coming on again here in Season 4. Had them last year in Season 3. A wonderful foundation. Can't thank them enough for coming on board, so please check out morethancape.org and just donate anything you can, whether it's word of mouth, money, even just learning about the foundation. It goes a very long way. So can't thank them enough, Brandon, for coming on board here this season.
Absolutely. They've been with us here for quite some time, and now even sponsor a team here in the series. So they've obviously been a great partner, but they're also a great cause, just helping out families going through some pretty unthinkable things as they deal with childhood illnesses, childhood cancers, things like that. Just trying to help families get by just a little bit more. So like you said, if you're able, please go check them out online, and if you're definitely able, please do so if as you're comfortable too.
Absolutely. So pace car lights are off. Let's give everybody a quick rundown of the top 10 before they get going again here tonight. Starting out in front on this fifth restart is going to be David Miller. Lane Doyle, who we saw lead in this thing before that caution came out, he'll start second. Brad Herman there in the 85 machine. He's going to start third with Blair Holloman in fourth. We saw him making his run up through the field before that caution. The 15 of Michael Madden, he's up to fifth. So we'll see if he can make up any more spots, the defending champion from last season. Sean Jensick, who's won back-to-back races here, he's starting P6 with Ben Park in seventh. Matthew Greathouse, he's back 4 positions from where he started in 8th place, looking to make his way up through the field. Larch quietly made his way up to 9th place. See if he can get a win here tonight at Motegi, with Jose Castellanos rounding out the top 10. So some new names we're seeing up here.
Yeah, some new names, but it's a lot of the guys that I think all season long they've just quietly been sitting there running in those top 10 positions, and they're starting to make their way back up here as we get towards the end of the race. Just right on cue for how they've normally been. But big question, we talked about it early on in this caution, can that 21 truck hang on to it? How's that call going to work out here for David Miller?
Yeah, so the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag right back out. And man, he gets a great start, the 21. Out to a good lead over Lane Doyle, so his best bet is that Brad Herman and Doyle go battling here for second, and they do just that.
I tell you what, here at Motegi, they don't have a Geico restart zone, so it's completely on the race leader, and I think he caught everybody off guard. Oh, Lane Doyle! Doyle loses it. Now they're all wrecking up front. I saw about 5 trucks all involved and all serious contenders here in this race.
Blair Holloman gets by. Michael Larch gets on by. That happened so fast, I couldn't even tell who was wrecking. There were so many trucks.
Well, so at the start of it, we saw Lane Doyle got into the wall or just got real loose and then went right into Brad Herman. As we take a look here at the admin box rec replay. So there's the 47 on the outside. You see him loose there in 1 and 2. He was trying to hang on to it. He gets into Herman. There's damage to Jensick in the 29. Nathan Nixon got involved in this. I think he got collected in the aftermath of this wreck. But that is 4 top 10 trucks and top contenders here in this race, all damaged pretty significantly in this one.
Yeah, so there's Sean Jensick in the 29. We're going to watch it happen right in front of him. Big damage. You can see the smoke come out and the engine done in that thing. And then even Miller gets involved. So that's what I'm curious about here. Miller, who was out in front, also getting involved in this thing.
Let's see on the 21. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Didn't even catch that before, but.
Yeah, I saw someone wrecking in front of all this, and it was the leader who blows his engine and is out of this thing as well. So Miller also out of this.
That almost looked like a glitch how he just came straight into the wall there. That was very awkward looking. Not too sure what happened there to the 21. I mean, he's on the straightaway. It's not going to be a handling thing. Right on board with the race leader.
See it happening behind him in his mirror. I think maybe he's just looked up in his mirror and
that's possible. That is bizarre. And just a heartbreaker there for David Miller.
Because worked perfect.
Yeah, it was going to go golden for that 21 truck with all the contenders that got damaged in that wreck. It was going to shorten up the run under caution. That's just a heartbreaker there for David Miller.
So with 12 laps to go, Brad Herman is going to take back the lead. Blair Holloman is going to be just behind him. Michael Madden in third. Greathouse and Castellanos rounding out the top 5. So before we get to the 6th restart of the night, we're going to step aside one more time, run a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
All right, back out here, and I believe we are down to 10 laps to go. We will take the green flag once we see 9 left to go on the board. The big question, Brandon, like I always like to ask and kind of jinx this thing, think we go green all the way to the end?
Man, I don't know, because we got some scattered damage on these trucks now near the front of the field, especially that 85 truck. It took a pretty good shot on the right side from Lane Doyle when he started that wreck getting loose off of turn number 2. So I'm not too sure how that truck's going to be handling. There's some other guys with some damage here around that top 10. It's going to make it really interesting, and also it is absolutely go time here. We've talked about how hard it is to pass. Guys are going to be desperate trying to make these passes while everybody's bunched up. It's going to be tough to see if this thing goes green the rest of the way.
You see the crinkle on the hood of the 85 right there, but we go to the starter, and we see that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving once again here in Motegi.
Blair Holloman, a good job just tucking right behind Brad Herman there, so a little bit of teammate communication, I would believe, for the Zuyos guys as they got lined up. Holloman not getting stuck on the high side, and they're going to start pulling away pretty quickly from Michael Madden and the rest of the field. 0.3 the gap out of turn number 2.
Yeah, we thought Michael Madden, this was falling right into his lap here with the damage on the 85, but so far so good for Brad Herman. We'll see if the handling of that truck holds up, but so far single file. We're about 1st through 8th, but side by side here between.
Oh, wrecking off of turn 3.
Oh, wow. Lane Doyle involved in this one as well.
Oh,
again.
still wrecking. See the 75. I saw the 35 of Jacob Zala up in the wall at the start of this. That was Walt Lipicki, it looks like, that came up on the track, picked up another one there. John Holiday involved, but wow.
Take a look from the blimp here. So the 35, it might have, yeah, you said Zala up in the wall, so let's take another look at that.
Oh, saw Bobby Anderson caught up in that at the end.
Find Zala, here he is right here, and you can see he's already sideways heading into this thing, so let's go ahead, rewind it a little bit. Right behind the 37, just sends it in, gets it yawed out, gets into the 37, goes up into the wall. This is going to come back down right in front.
Looks like he just had a lot more confidence in holding that outside line and carried a lot more speed than Raul Meza was able to, and tried to dive in there and just had a little bit too much power. So that's a rough one there, and actually just doubled down on it. Jacob Zala actually hitting the point limit. He's been disqualified from the race on incident points as a result of this one. So that's a just double heavy impact there for the 35. As we ride with Lane Doyle on the roof cam, see the 35 way up ahead, and then they start wrecking, and there's so little time. He was going to try to come down low. James Kerr did that already, and then they were just all bogged down around that pit entry.
Good job to kind of save that 47, but having a tough time back here after being involved in that incident. Now back-to-back incidents for the 47 machine, so everybody going to opt to stay on out here. Doesn't look like we have very many takers for trucks on pit road. That's Bobby Anderson, Walt Lipicki, Doc Holliday, and James Kerr, those trucks we saw involved not too long ago. So yeah, we've seen a few incidents here. 6 cautions, Brandon, with 7 to go. We had 6 last season. You think we break that record here tonight?
I hope we don't, because I'm ready for a good finish here. I think we're set up to have one. If we can just get green the rest of the way here, obviously an overtime finish would kind of deliver about the same, but I feel like the racing really improves a couple of laps after a restart. I think the tires get warmed up, everybody gets a little bit more confidence in those tires, and that they can hold the track just a little bit better in these trucks. So I'm hoping that we stay green the rest of the way. I think it'll be a better finish, but I'm not too sure. We talk about the aggression levels that are needed to make passes around here, and the laps are winding down, the aggression levels go up.
Oh, those are definitely going up. Yeah, you're exactly right. The laps running out. We're going to have 5 to go once we get this thing green here for the 7th time. Actually, no, the pace lights are still on. Thought we were seeing the 1 to go signal there, but the lights are still on, so that's going to leave it to 4 to go for Herman to hold on to this thing and go back to back here in Motegi. But let's go ahead, why not, since we have the time, give a few shout outs to a few of the guys here in the field that are just having excellent nights so far. The one I'm looking at so far right now, currently in 11th, we saw him take that risk earlier in the night. He has made his way up 29 positions and could possibly come away with a top 10. Daniel Park having a great run just in front of him. Raul Meza up 23 positions here tonight. He even asked me before the race here, Brandon, to get his picture on because he knew he was going to be on camera a lot here tonight. So there you see Raul up to 10th, up 23 spots. And let's go ahead and head on back a little further. Markle in 17th. He's up 18 spots here tonight in that 42 machine. And a newcomer here, don't even have a picture for him, the 18 out of TJ's team, Jason Pearson. I want to give him a quick shout out in his first race, up 16 spots in 21st. So a lot of guys making up some big time ground here this evening.
I tell you what, aside from a little bit of scuffing on the right side there and a little bit of crinkling on the right front, maybe just got into the wall, that 18 truck looking pretty clean. That's pretty much what you want to do in your first start in a league. It's just a nice, clean run, move up a few spots, and just have a quiet night. And I think he's done that. And 21st place, top half of the field, that wouldn't be a bad way to close out your first race either.
Not bad at all. So we'll see just how it works out for everybody, because I just have to imagine we are not done seeing this pace car out on the track here. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side. We've seen up to 4 or 5 wide racing here at some points tonight. That's definitely going to be the case here once we get this thing green and get this pace car off the track. So Brad Herman going to get them back to the Geico restart zone that we kind of just make up here at Motegi because, like Brandon said, they don't even have it, obviously, since the NASCAR circuit doesn't go to this track. But, man, we love it here in SRN.
It's a fantastic oval. It's only 10-degree bankings. It feels like it shouldn't really conduce good racing, but it really does. I mean, yes, difficult to pass, but it makes it exciting seeing guys going for those big moves into the turns, trying to get the runs off of the turns. It just really fits well with this series, and especially the trucks. And here we go again with another what should be a great finish.
Yeah, the pace car off the track, and that Silverback Tech Solutions green flag back waving. Herman gets a good start on Holloman. Madden going to be to the inside now of the 10 machine. He wants to get a win here this season and make his way back up through the points, currently sitting outside the top 15.
Well, what's happening for Blair Holloman right now is what he did not want to see happen. He's going to be stuck on the high line. He gets a good momentum push, though, out of turn 2, as Michael Madden had to pin it down low trying to get out of there, but it still should be the 15 truck on the edge. But what a run! Big dive on the outside for Blair Holloman.
I thought he was about to make that work the way he sent that in there, but and that's going to get him into the 15. The 10 goes around.
And even from the live view, I think that was a whole lot of net code if that 10 didn't get loose. That was a big-time turn into that inside wall, and, man, Blair Holloman took a giant push, a giant chance there in 3 and 4, and just did not work out for him in the end.
So let's go ahead once again, cue up that admin box rec replay that we saw happen live. But we want to see it again, so let's go ahead and check it out here. You see the 85 and the 10 side by side. Herman with that big move, Holloman with the big move, gets him tight. But that is some of the worst net code that I think I've seen here in quite a while.
Yeah, that's either 10 just got wild loose or bad net code. Kind of had the 85 block in there, so couldn't tell if he got loose. I'm honestly thinking that was just horrendous net code. And if so, that is just awful to have happen there after a move like that.
So this is on the wrong truck. That was on Brad Herman, who was out in front. So we'll go ahead and try and cue that up and see the on-board perspective from Madden. And, I mean, he's going to have so much daylight between him and the 10 here. Really unfortunate here for the Holloman. Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Big time damage on that 10.
Yeah, just bad net code at the absolute worst time for Blair Holloman. Man, that's well.
Now he's breaking my graphics.
Maybe it's just tech glitches all over the place.
There we go.
As we finally get rid of that graphic, but yeah, that's just unfortunate. That was a heck of a move by Blair Holloman to make that outside stick. Deserves a lot better, but Uncle Netcode. Not a fan of that move, it seems.
Yeah, so this could work out for the 85 here. We'll have our first run at a green-white checker. I believe we have 3 attempts to get this thing sorted out, if I'm correct. And you might come away with it with this damage on the right front of that 85. I mean, you could see it there from his cockpit. It was pretty significant. Yeah,
that's heavy damage there, and you normally don't think that's going to help out a whole lot, but it seems like it's working. And just got distracted here in the admin call, and they agree with us. That is some of the worst netcode that we've ever seen in SRN, and that's going to go down as the cause of that incident. That was pretty clear as daylight.
So we've still got the pace car lights on As we still got a few people down on pit lane. James Kerr, Sean Jensick, both getting their cars or trucks repaired. Sean Jensick, man, what a fall from grace here tonight after a great start. Looking like he might go 3 in a row. Can't get out of the trouble now after falling back in the back.
Man, just unfortunate. We've seen a lot of the top qualifiers in this race really have issues just pop up pretty often here tonight in Motegi. And in fact, I'm looking at the top 13 drivers, only 2 started inside the top 10, which is Brad Herman, who started second, the race leader. Matthew Greathouse started fourth. He's running third. But the other 11 of the top 13 all started outside of the top 10.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of green here on my scoring pylon. You're exactly right. Mesa, who we've just mentioned, up 25 positions. Daniel Park now up 29, still running in 11th. You got Bo Tiffany up 9, Rob Yost up 13, Lucas Lyons up 15, Ben Park up 10, Michael Larch up 10. Everybody's up something here on the top 13, and then you got Blair Holloman, who's fallen back into 14th. So he's dropped 8 positions since the start of this one. So 1 to go. We're going to see those pace car lights turn off. We're going to get this thing back underway.
I'll tell you what, we've talked a lot about Brad Herman and Michael Madden throughout this race, but look at that second row. A couple of PVR teammates. Matthew Greathouse quietly, pretty much summing up his season, quietly up near the front here at the end of this race in the 51. Jose Castellanos, another one of the big movers, plus 14 in this race. He's sitting there with another solid run, which he's been starting to string together here. Those guys might be threats if something happens here, because we saw 4 or 5 wide last season coming to the line. If we see it again, that window might be open for those 2 teammates.
Yeah, why not? We've seen a lot of the same here from last season here in Season 4, but you got to imagine that 51 is going to be hungry to come away with possibly his first win here ever in SRN, and don't want to count out the 36-2 Austin Purnell in the 5th position, having a good run here tonight and just a great run so far this season. And it's just consistency, and he's doing a great job of moving up quietly through the field over the course of these races, kind of like you said about the 51.
And what he's got going for him, he's on that inside line here late in the race. I think that's going to be a big deal for these guys. That inside line has been running really well throughout these turns, especially at the start of a run. That could be the key for this race for the 51 and the 36 to maybe get a shot at that 85.
Well, that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag back out. Brad Herman with a good jump on Michael Madden. That second row not really getting off to a good jump here, but Greathouse sends it deep into turn number 1. Has a good look to the inside of the 15, but the Madden machine shuts it down in single files. But Brad Herman out to a 3-truck length advantage over the 15 of Madden.
Tell you, who had a good jump on that restart, though, was that 48 of Michael Larch. He jumped up from the 6th position, now taking a look down to the inside for 3rd. He broke away from Austin Purnell in the 36, cut down to the inside, and has made it stick with a big run. He might find himself on the podium as we come to the white flag.
Reza with the big block on Ben Park here. He's trying to hang on to a solid finish here. He's got 7th, but Ben Park goes to the outside, but out in front, smooth sailing for the 85. Michael Madden still holding on to P2. Greathouse going to be taking a look to the inside, but doesn't have the run off of turn 2.
Oh, Larch going to keep going farther down to the inside to try to steal this 3rd place position away. Big dive into turn 3. See if he can make it stick. He's going to come up a little bit. That might make that truck a little unstable. Give a chance for the 51, but the 48 going to get clear.
Yeah, Brad Herman wins again here in Motegi as the checker flag waves for the Rising Sun. 115. A great battle there on that first attempt at a green-white checker, but no surprise to see the 85 parking it in victory lane again here in Motegi.
Man, what damage to that truck? He took a huge hit to the right side of that, and one of those cautions that involved a lot of the top contenders, but that 85 just held on to it, and maybe a little help from the cautions there, just kind of shortening up that run, but either way, just powered that Red Bull-inspired number 85 all the way up to the front and held on and puts that thing in victory lane for the 2nd straight time here in Japan.
He's celebrating in front of the team owner there, Rob Yost in the 83 machine. He's going to have some fun here as that's the first win, I believe, on the season for Brad Herman. So the season, 2 champion gets another dub on the board here in the Toyota Tundra out of Zeus Racing. He's going to burn it down here on the front stretch.
Yeah, Brad Herman definitely knows how to make the donuts happen here on the racetrack, as he's had quite a few wins over the past couple seasons here in SRN. But like you said, first one on the season. But what a performance there. Shame we couldn't see with everybody out there, all the contenders that we saw. We saw a lot of them get collected in that one wreck. But either way, some great racing here tonight. When the race was under green, we saw some really good looks at some passes. A lot of clean racing out there. Just had those cautions kind of scattered throughout.
Yeah, definitely turned into a lot more of a chippier race than I was expecting there. Kind of started off with a pretty good green flag run. I thought this thing might have gone green the whole time, but all it took was one. And we have a lot of banged up trucks coming back home from overseas. But I don't think they're too worried about this one as he just blows up the engine here. And that is going to end the night for the 85. That truck really beat up, but it's still going to look pretty good in victory lane. So let's head up to the blimp here and bring up our final results of the night for race number 5 here in the TJ's Team Truck Series. Brad Herman gets the win for Zeus Racing. Michael Madden just behind him in P number 2. Michael Larch in 3rd. Matthew Grayhouse just misses out on the podium, comes home in 4th place, with Austin Purnell finishing out the top 5.
And it'll be Jose Castellanos in position number 6. Ben Park for Tank Racing will be in 7. A couple of independent drivers here in 8th and 9th, with Lucas Lyons in 8th, Raul Meza in 9th, and Jose Ruiz, the name we haven't really mentioned all night long. He sneaks his way into the top 10 to close that out there at the end.
Yeah, good to see a few new names here in the top 10. Bo Tiffany just misses the top 10, comes home in 11th. Rob Yost in 12th. Daniel Park with a great night, comes home 27 positions gained, up in 13th place. Trevor Williams in 14th, with Mike Lipicki in 15th.
16th place will go to Tyler Markle. Kyle Ryan will be in 17th. Jason Kretke will finish in 18th. Wally Babb will be in 19th. And rounding out the top 20 out of 31 that finished on the lead lap will be Blair Holloman.
So let's go ahead, track down a few of our interviews here, and start with the 3rd place finisher and bring up Michael Larch up to the booth. Michael, great run here, coming away with a 3rd place finish. And man, you've really made your name known here in the Truck Series. How's it feel to kind of keep that progress growing through the season? And when are you going to get that first win here in the Truck Series?
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully soon. Feels good, though, to finish up here in the top 3. Been running good. A little bit of bad luck and, some of it being on my doing. I think I could have been battling maybe for the lead tonight if we would have had some more green flag runs. I was really good on the long run. But came home third and got what I got.
Yeah, we've been talking about a few names that kind of had those quietly consistent runs and just putting the truck in the right place week in and week out, and you're definitely in one of those, entering this race inside the top 10. And we haven't really brought you up a whole lot just because you kind of sit there around that 5th to 15th kind of run, but there you are once again with a solid run. One thing we were talking about here tonight also was just how difficult it was to make passes, but we saw a lot of guys really work their way through the field. What was it like out there on a pretty single groove racetrack making it work?
It was tough at first, especially at the start of the runs. After about lap 5 or 6 for me, it felt like the truck really settled in and I could really do whatever I want with it. But like I said, after about lap 15 to 20, I could make up a lot of ground. But unfortunately, we didn't get those long green flag runs. And then just trying to hold it down on the bottom coming out of the turn so you can get a good run on somebody and jump to their inside there.
Well, Michael, before we let you go and celebrate a good run with the team here tonight, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out to TJ's Team for sponsoring the Truck Series here at Speed Racing Network. All you guys up there in the broadcast booth week in and week out doing what you guys do. It's looking great. You guys always put on a great show. Natural Prep Bite for letting me jump in on the truck here to sponsor. And all the guys at JW Racing, we work really hard every single week, all the different series working together. and hopefully it will be paying off here at the end of the season.
Well, looking like you might be getting some sort of payout with the way that 48's running. I appreciate the kind words, man, and looking forward to seeing what you can do when we get out to Rockingham next week. A bit of a different track here on the circuit. So best of luck, and have a good night, man.
You guys too. Thanks.
All right, so that was Michael Larch coming home in P number 3. Great run out of the 48 camp here tonight, trying to track down our runner-up. There he is, going to bring Michael Madden on up to the booth here after a great run, 18 positions gained here tonight. Comes away with a second-place finish and starts that move up into the top 15 in points. Our defending champion joins us now. Michael, welcome, man. Tell us about that race here. You look like you had a really good truck here tonight.
Yeah, I had a good truck. I screwed the pooch on qualifying and didn't do myself any favors, so I was playing catch-up for most of the race. And just couple wrecks helped me out a lot because there was no moving. It was hard to pass, and it was just backed up. So, yeah, the wrecks helped me. I gained some track position, and I was so behind the 8 ball, I didn't really have a chance until the end for the win. I needed more laps to kind of get in the groove and get past those guys, but the yellows didn't really help me.
Yeah, but we were talking about moving back up into the top 15. You've had quite the run here in the past couple of weeks in doing so. I mean, aside from that second the run at Phoenix there, you've been putting that truck into the top 10. Doing so again here tonight with that runner-up finish. Feels like the 15's got that momentum going again here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Grinded it out. I missed the first race because I had a work event, so I was behind the 8 ball. But yeah, man, we just got to chip away, stack the pennies, and we'll get in there. Like you said last season, it's all about getting hot at the right time. So we just got to keep this forward momentum going, get rid of the bad luck, and just keep grinding out good finishes.
Well, before we let you go, Michael, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout-out to here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to apologize to my my counterpart, Mr. Blair, with that disgusting net code. Take him out. Should have been a 1-2-3 finish for the Rat Pack boys. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Always want to thank the MM15 crew for tuning in, week out, and Sparkle and Shine and all those guys, what they do for me on a season-to-season basis. Also, Yerbal. And shout out Yosti because going to have probably a nice hauler chat after this one. So looking forward to it.
All right, man. Well, best of luck, and we'll see you next week when we get out to Rockingham, North Carolina. So have a good night, man, and congrats on a P2 finish here tonight.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
That was Michael Madden coming away with the P2 runner-up position here tonight. Let's get to the man of the hour. Track down Brad Herman here. He's still talking to Rob Yost. We're going to go ahead and break that up and bring him on up here. Brad, congratulations, getting your first win here of this season. Tell us how it feels to finally get that monkey off your back, and you're going to be making your way up towards the top of the standings too.
Oh, it feels good, man. I don't know if this Red Bull had wings tonight, but it definitely had some pep in its step. Just happy to finish out front with having that damage and whatnot. I thought it was going to slow me down a little bit more than it did, but happened to get it done, so really excited.
It's kind of felt like the past couple of weeks have been pretty due to break through into victory lane. Got it done here tonight. That's your fourth straight top 4 finish, and going to another one of those pretty unfamiliar racetracks. Obviously, you got 2 in a row here at Motegi. Going to Rockingham for the first time next week. What do you expect going forward into that next one, and having all this momentum on your back too?
I never raced Rockingham in a truck, but I feel like it's going to be at least a little similar to here, just saving tire and being smooth and trying to be there at the end. And yeah, I'm really stoked about getting back-to-back wins here. I really like this track, and this EPI setup was right up my alley. It handled awesome.
We might have lost Greg. So I'll kind of pick up on the next question there for him. But yeah, as usual, before we get to the next race at Rockingham, if you got anybody that you want to give a shout out to, give you the floor here.
Yeah, I just got to thank Zoo Yost and Customer Club and Rat Pack Racing, our sister team. Awesome having them together. Really good practice sessions, learning a lot, and helping each other get better. So that's what all matters.
Well, hopefully you can hear me because I don't think I did anything, but appreciate you, Brandon, asking that question for me. But Brad, congrats on the win here tonight, getting the first one of the season. Like we said, we'll look forward to seeing what you can do out in Rockingham next week. But go have fun celebrating a great night with the Zeos and Rat Pack boys, and take care, man.
Thanks. Awesome talking to you guys. Have a good one.
All right, so just like that, my mic is messing up. Our interviews are done, and we are done here with night number 2 out here in Motegi, and a pretty darn good race here. I can't say I told you so, Brandon. I picked the winner here once again here. Brad Herman gets it done.
Hey, you know what? The good news is all that broadcaster curse talk, I think it might be going away here this season. We got a 1st and 4th with the picks here tonight. But one thing that is going to carry over, though, man, we saw a lot of intensity out there and a lot of heated moments out on the racetrack. And, oh, by the way, we're going to a pretty much a short track next week at Rockingham. So if you're interested in seeing some things possibly carry over, might be seeing that next week.
Looking at the Discord, the admin waiting room line is growing. So the admins, they got a long night ahead of them. But our night is done here in the SRN broadcast booth. So definitely come on back. We got one more race to go this week. The Xfinity car is going to go ahead and tackle the new Atlanta configuration. So that will be a great one. I'm going to have Brandon Domain joining me once again. So please come on back. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that little bell so you know exactly when we go live. But that's it for the Rising Sun 115 and our Japan adventures here this season. We've had a great run at Motegi, but Brad Herman goes back to back once again here in Motegi. So that's going to do it for us, for myself, Brandon Domain, and all the admins. I wish you guys a good night and go fast.